All right, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with Alysha Khan. Last year, as you all know, I announced Introsphere, and there's a lot that has happened since then. A lot with kids, with clients, with life, friends, just trying to balance everything. And I'm just happy to be on this journey and to share it with you all. Since then, I have started working with a lot of great people, including Alysha herself as our client services director. She's doing a lot for me that I wasn't doing for myself. So really great to be working with her. And this week and for the following weeks, this year and hopefully for future years, we're going to be doing a marketing ops AMA. We're going to be answering questions from the community about career growth, about how to be better in your day to day, and other questions that you all might have. And with that, Alysha, do you want to take it away?
Yeah. Hi, folks. Alysha Khan here, Brandon's head of client services. And I occasionally like to joke that I just walk behind him with a virtual broom and just fix things up a little bit. But for this week's AMA, we thought we'd start with a question that I think both Brandon and I have answered and we continually see pop up is how can what is like one thing people can do to advance in their marketing ops careers? So, Brandon, what is the one thing folks should be doing?
Yeah, I think the thing that is the most impactful is being able to tie whatever it is you're doing
Mm,
to larger business objectives, ideally the highest business objectives that come from executives, all the way down to your manager, or if you're an agency, to your stakeholders. So if you're doing campaign operations, you don't want to think about it in terms of number of tickets or number of things, but what you want to do is think about overall impact to the business. So how can you tie the campaigns that you help execute on to the amount of revenue or the amount of leads or whatever the case is, because you're speaking the language that those executives and stakeholders want to hear about. They don't want to hear that you decrease the time it takes, not necessarily want to hear about the time it took you to get a campaign out live. That might be important to certain stakeholders, but what they do want to hear about is, oh, we were able to get more registrants, we were able to drive more pipeline, we were able to do these things that are measurable impacts on the business, and that will have a uh, exponential impact on how you grow in your career. Alysha, would you how would you add to that?
Brandon, my heart. I am the person who's like, we need to get more tickets done in a week, or we need to get faster at getting tickets.
So you felt like I was taking a shot at you.
Maybe just a little. No, but you're right. That's the thing. But also, I was like, you're actually 100% right because it matters to get it faster out because you need to generate more leads and more revenue and tie it to the thing. And it made me realize that I don't know if I always do a good job articulating that with folks that I talk to about campaign op stuff is like just getting tickets faster through the system is not the end goal in and of itself. It is to be better at supporting the larger business objectives. I think the one thing that I have for folks is, and this is maybe, and I like your answer because I think it's a reflection of how you think about things in terms of like analytics and reports and you're a life cycle dude. I think it's meeting other people in the community. It's like not being afraid to, if you see somebody cool on LinkedIn, to be like, yo, hey, I think you're kind of cool. I'd love to ask you some questions. Like, can we schedule a coffee chat? And
Hmm.
it's awkward. Like I've done that. I always like kind of grimace a little and then I just hit send and I walk away from my computer. Um, but you learn a lot. You learn so much from other people of just like ideas you have kicking in the back of your head, right? I feel like I have a whole collection of ideas that I've heard from people that now I'm just like looking for the right opportunity to implement them. And I like to think about it as like you're growing your toolkit and your toolbox to then help you do to basically do the things that you are talking about and like supporting those initiatives at the larger level. So
So for the audience that's looking for one or two quick things that they can apply to get over that fear of connecting with the community, what would you share?
I would start. Dang, that's a hard one. I'd start with like friend of a friend, right? Everybody has a friend of a friend. Have somebody else like do the intro for you of like, hey, this is a really cool person. I think they'd really benefit from talking to you. That sort of eases you into it.
Yeah,
Um,
foot in the door.
and because I guess we're consultants, we have booking links, but I think even the average person can benefit from having a booking link. That if you want to get serious about networking, having a like a super easy way for people to schedule time with you, right? I think that's a huge like awkward frictiony back and forth thing of like, well, are you free then or are you free then? But JK, my call got moved and like now I'm double booked of like
That's,
having
that's
a just a real that's no, I know. I can like people just go to my booking link and they can find time with me and it's very easy and I can send it to people and it's very easy for them and it makes it a little less awkward that way.
Hey,
And then I think Brandon for you, if people don't know how to tie what they do, because I can imagine the general emails, like if you're sending emails, how do you tie that to business goals? How would you suggest that people start that like process of thinking about it?
I think that your stakeholders or your, let's say, okay, your in-house.
Yeah.
So based off of where you're hired, there are certain expectations of your role. So if you're a, usually they have certain levels of ICs, and then they have an IC that is at the tipping point of being a manager one, and then they have certain levels of managers, and then they have directors, and so on and so forth. So a lot of times when you get hired in an entry level role, there's no expectation that you're going to be connecting those dots. So the first thing that you can do is ask questions. Your manager, and anyone can ask this question, like even in the interview process or when you're hired. Hey, um, how does my role, so if I'm campaign, let's say I'm campaign operations, how does my role of producing tickets, completing tickets,
Mm,
and answering stakeholders about how things are happening in the systems, solving bugs, how do those two or three things tie to your goals as my manager and your manager's goals? um, because what that question shows is that you're you know that the business is bigger than your box of Marketo or HubSpot or Pardot. You know that marketing operations is, or go to market ops or rev ops, whatever y'all are calling it. You know that you all are part of a bigger system that
mhm.
is this business, and in order for the business to keep functioning, it needs to have goals and KPIs and objectives, etc. So ask your manager, and if you're an agency or you're a one-off consultant, during that discovery process, it's actually essential that you're tying your work to their goals. Now, there are times where agencies get brought in to do a very specific task, implement Google Tag Manager or fix my email template. But even then, there are opportunities for you to tie your work to business objectives, which allows you through questions and
Mhm.
discovery, which allows you to show your value and what future value you might have. So just ask.
Fantastic. I think, folks, that's a great place for us to wrap today. The take home is you need to ask. You need to ask
Right.
questions about how to tie your work to business objectives. You need to ask for the introduction and ask for people to meet you. And that's how you can start by investing more in your career. So that is it for this week's Marketing Ops AMA. And we will see you next week.